Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the first of our webinars for 2022. My name's Erin Seymour and I'm the Vice Chair of the New South Wales ACT branch. We're pleased to have Dr. Lynn Oliver present for us today. He really shouldn't need any introduction, but for those of you who are quite young, Lynn is one of the founding members of the college and was integral in formalising training and accreditation in this country. He also justified the worth of medical physicists to the government, which is why we get paid so well, and this was all while being the physics director at Royal North Shore Hospital. Lynn's passion project in his retirement years has been the Better Health Technology Foundation, which is what he is here to inform us about today. It is his hope that in doing so, the foundation will gain the support it needs for people like us so that it's sustainable in the future. If you could please put any questions that you have throughout the presentation in the Q&A function, we'll hopefully have time to answer them at the end. And I'll hand over to Lynn now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I should start by congratulating you all for making the college what it is today. And I hope that you enjoyed today's talk and where the next exciting episode may begin for you. Unfortunately, I have to go through what are some rather boring one-liners indicating what we're here for. And when the Axon Foundation was first established in 2017, it wasn't actually when the foundation was first established. It was established back in 2007 formally as a not-for-profit organisation, and there have been many donations from college members through the years, which has gone towards research and development. But by the time we got to 2017, there was not really any funds available for us to use, although the Asia Pacific, thanks to Simon Downs, Anna Ralston, and Thomas Cron, and many other Asia Pacific members, the APSEC group, they have built up a very good, strong interest group to assist the Asia Pacific physicists in radiotherapy. And so we're going to focus today on what is the future for health professionals and the community. These were the two instructions we had over and above Asia Pacific for us to promote and support, which the college board wrote into the conditions of the foundation. You should know that we are, as shown on this first slide, that we are in fact also registered as a trade, and we have a focus for research, development, and safe use of our medical technology. But to move on from there, one of the important aspects that we're now wanting to improve is that research and development aspect of the foundation, and also reach out to the general public, in particular patients, their families, and many others you will see as we go through this discussion. So overall, it was decided that the vision was access to better healthcare technology for everyone. This may mean different things to different people, but this in effect is where we aspire to achieve in the future, using the trade of Better Healthcare Technology Foundation website. So In case I run out of time today, I want to provide you the requirements of the future. We really need the rest of the membership to now become more engaged. We have established what is a charitable registration, governance for it is established, and we have a separate board to the college board, which has links back. But the challenge is how to have fund resources to do what we want to do, to also build up a fund sinking, or what I call a sinking fund, which is in the form of assets to be able to provide future income to run the foundation. At the moment, it's on a shoestring arrangement. It's got a reasonable amount in the bank, but it does rely on our passionate volunteers who are supporting the foundation at the moment. In future, I would suggest that you should look towards investing in the foundation, because it will have many attributes which we can do publicly, which we can't do in the college website itself. So, it will depend over the next 3 years on focusing on where it can have funding from. There are members who regularly provide donations, and we thank them, and we'd like to encourage more of, since we've grown from just 100 members to over 600, I think we can start to invest in this as a future gain for the membership. It's made up of a number of committees now. There's an R&D committee, and there's been recently by Anna Ralston a list of interested parties, so you can join that. I'm on fundraising, marketing and website team, which probably explains why I'm here today, to explain what else is in the foundation, apart from what you heard during Dr. Williams' presentation at the last conference. So the website is very much the focus on how we can get things done. So it does require some infrastructure which gives it support for it to be able to continue to do beyond what it has now. Essentially, over a year, I produced the website according to what was required. It then went through a revamp when the college reviewed what were the strategies for both the foundation and the college itself. And so most of the work for the website itself comes to me. However, I do depend on other people in the future. As we grow and there are more articles submitted to the website, it will require some experts in the field of the article to be able to explain to you and give a proper standard publication. I will explain that authors can give levels 1 to 3 in complexity, and there is a very good use for these different types of articles which we will be publishing on the site. Also, article spotters. Now, I saw only yesterday your Epson 22 was promoted, and it looks like it'll have many papers that would be interesting for the foundation. So we need to discuss how we can channel some of what is a lot of work for the presenters at conferences to give their work to the foundation and make it useful for others to read who didn't go to the conference. Article spotters is simply a person who has a specialist area they're interested in, and they can tap people on the shoulder who they heard a good talk on, or they know could provide a special article on a special topic. Overall, though, the website is running very well at the moment, touch wood, and it would be a help if there's any members who are familiar with WordPress administration, and even for the search engine optimizers that are a way of improving the number of people on the website. On that very point, the website statistics I've put up for this year and compared to others, we're sort of on track, and we are in between 14,000 to 16,000 views that are recorded, and in the order of 5,000 to 6,000 visitors during a 12-month period. I've posted up what's happened already this year, and you will see that the paper that's just been published by Dr. Martin Ebert and a whole host of other co-authors attracted 319 visits. And this was because it was in conjunction with the Foundation for Asbestos, I think, asbestos disorders and related cancers. So, so it is already well viewed, and that is worldwide. So most are from Australia, about 70%, and United States seems to clock up about 20% as well. What I don't know is what type of viewer they are, because of course you can have some that are skimming around with no real intentions, but we're hoping that it will continue to attract more and more people who are required. If you are going to submit any applications for grants to the health department or to the philanthropists, they are just interested in what, why, and how. And so from July last year right through to December, there was a lot of work done by my marketing committee and with the other members of the foundation to establish what's a common goal for each of the three different streams: the community, health professionals, and Asia Pacific. And so if I take an example of one for the community knowledge exchange, you'll see that, of course, we start off with the area that we do research in, and that we've published website information for patients and the community. You'll see here that I've got a link to it, and I hope it'll work properly for me, which is a sample of one of the pages from the website. And you can see here, this one is specifically for cancer care, cancer patients, and it deals with leading any patient or member of the family to look at what might be specific for their cancer. We've done, as you can see here, most common cancers, a whole bunch of them, and we also mentioned nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, etc. So if I go down through here, you can see that I can pick up something on the most common cancers, patient experiences, breast cancer, lung cancer, and prostate. And you should be aware that consumers such as Cancer Voices are wanting to be involved. And so we actually now have a Miss Lee Hunt on the website team who has read all of our patient articles and has provided feedback to me on whether they're helpful or not.
Sorry, Lynn, I just wanted to let you know that we aren't able to see the website with what you're referring to.
You can't see the website?
No, your presentation's still being shared
in
the webinar.
All right. Well, perhaps if members can click on it their end as we go through, we can show it. We can do it that way. Is that possible? No. All right, we'll come back to that at the end then. So you can see that we focus on design and operation, and it's meant to be complementing the medical advice that you can get from other websites. And we don't give any medical advice, which I emphasize further down. It's written in a way that's concise, readily understandable, and easy for patients to read. So this has turned out to be something which I've been able to help our people to convert what they used to, the style they're writing in, and converting it to this easy style. What we're trying to do is to establish a website which is independent and free of conflict. You might find that when you look at the website and for a particular cancer, it's either a radiotherapy type site or it's a surgical type site, and it's fairly rare to have all of the different types of technology treatments in the one site. Although I have read the cancer support websites, and they give a very minimal description of what the technology is about. So our aim is to reduce patient anxiety or concerns which they are going through at the time that they have to choose which type of treatment they will have. And that should be between their first consultation with the medical specialist and finally when they decide how they would want treatment. And this changes from different cancers. We've also focusing on making sure that it's a site that the community has confidence in and not one of those fake sites. And so we've actually sought a website, which I'll mention in a minute, which can provide you a certification. So just reiterating, what we're going to do is have articles that address patient concerns, but the same material turns out to be useful for students or any person wishing to seek a career in medicine. So it does have multiple different applications which we've found in the process. And if it is not working, we can easily change the way in which the material is presented onto the website so that it caters more for each of the individual needs. As an example, I've got on the website instructions on what a white paper is, but essentially it's not a heavy peer-reviewed article as in journals, but would be reviewed, of course, and it's a thorough research or review of a particular topic, and it gives sound information in a way that can be published quickly. So for any authors that have work in progress, it is possible for you to actually state your claim in submitting a paper similar to what Professor Martin Ebert's paper was on immunology. I mentioned that the level 1 to 3, and I've given here two levels, which are examples by Joshua Hyatt. Early in the piece, he had won the journal prize on position error tests. And so I talked him into providing what was a simple explanation of stereotactic radiation therapy, where multi-electrolymators are critical in their use for treatment. So level 1 is an article written for patients to read, or for any person entering the field, for that matter. Whereas level 3 is for those who want to know more in depth about EPID position errors measurements that Joshua did. And also it has extra information there on past QA methods that we used. There's plenty of examples of that when you look through the website. So in just summarising level 1, it is possible for us to have it for the patients and family. Number 2 is I understand that there's work going on at the moment to reach out to high school students and university students. And if so, this website is ideal for it to be set up for that very purpose. So I'd encourage you to talk to me about that if you have any plans. As for other professionals, this is more the collaboration between disciplines, and those disciplines go beyond the conventional radiation type and can be many other disciplines that we communicate with in the hospitals. An international certification, if you go to Health on the Net, that's where we will be attempting to establish what is a reliable site certified by an international body. So the end goal is that we really have produced something which is available globally. And so we do have, and I presume we will, continue to have many other countries who will be able to use the information that we publish. And of course, it has to be in a way that's easy to access and giving that quality of technology that we demand. So the grants that we've currently got, this one on Perpetual Limited, and it is to find and build practical pathways for patients to access information about medical technologies, what we've just been discussing. And this, if it was to be granted, would help us to get and employ someone to assist in making that possible. We also found a second grant, which is the James Kirby Foundation, and that's been focused on prostate cancer as being a specific smaller project and a good one to do to start with. So we won't know the result of these until sometime after July, and keep your fingers crossed. Moving along to the health professionals, you all know this, that we're promoting R&D and facilitating collaborative knowledge exchange. So the question is, what else is there? What we've targeted and listed in that operational plan is bridging gaps between universities, industry, and all centres. And also, in particularly, the remote, rural, or smaller centres, so that they are able to become more involved in translation of new, safe, appropriate technology. We also want to set up a way to assist write-ups and reporting of skills that occur frequently in clinical observations. And we would call upon the more senior members of the college and any mentors that we have to help with that as a particular project. And really, the idea is to build a closer tie between larger and smaller, not have them in isolation. And in doing that, we are supposed to be keeping up with the technology. So how do we do it? And how do we give the more sparsely centres the support they should need? And this goes for any branches of our profession. What it will do is maintain their expertise up to the level that it should be, and it will retain adequate rural and remote centre staffing. So that we need to hold on to. I've made a suggestion, and you can tell me whether it is or isn't satisfactorily done, but there needs to be a networking system between the centres to strengthen that research and development and help to focus on what are the current clinical trials and on the horizon type research going on. So I would welcome any feedback coming to the foundation. I don't have any direct contact with members of the college normally, so any information to me is gratefully received. So I did mention mentors just a while ago, and that would be for brainstorming as well. And there was talk of setting up a particular weekend for that sort of work. And what seems to be always an attraction, there's many visits wanting to find out about the prizes and grants. So it's doing its purpose. It's encouraging people to do their work and then submit it for a prize. And then if they are one of those lucky winners, they would be approached by me to put an article on the website. I'd encourage those who are not winners to also do it, because there's not much between the winners and the not winners. So by all means, publish your work. And this collaboration is always under discussion. And if there's any assistance that the foundation can do in making these interactions easier, the better it is. So that too, write in what you want us to do. So in final list, it was rather interesting. I did produce this a couple of years ago, and I noticed the circular for the Epsom conference has listed many of those and more as being what they're interested to hear presentations on. So by all means, publish on the foundation.
Thanks, Lynn. That was excellent. Do you think it would be a good idea to stop screen sharing now, maybe bring up the website and go through it at the moment? And for everyone online, don't forget to put any of your questions in the Q&A bank that you would like to pose to Lynn about the foundation. I think there are a couple of really good points you brought up in that, and some of them are very aligned with current college projects, as you mentioned, such as the bridging the gap between the unis and industry, as well as high schools engagement. There's also a current project that's just kicking off again for regionalisation of training, and to extend that for other members for their professional development would be something that will be of great interest. So I think you'll definitely be hearing from some of us with regard. All right, well, while we were having a look around there at the moment, did have a question from Rachel Poldy related to whether the focus of the website itself, and if it's only focused on ROMP topics, or is there anything in the DIMP space, which I think that's an easy one for you to go through.
Is it going to focus on, what was the second?
Radiation oncology, or the other aspects of.
No, it goes as far as the members want to provide information on. It's certainly at the moment covering radiation radiation therapy, nuclear medicine, and radiology, and the radiation protection people need to lift their game to be here. And we also have quite a bit on ultrasound. And the best way to find this on the website is there is a search option, or there is another button which is all articles A to Z. Okay, so I'm now on the screen.
That was me. I'm sharing my screen if you'd like to direct me around it, Lynn.
So if you go to latest articles and click on that, you'll see that there is a big hoo-ha that I've produced on MRI, the history of it. But if you move down further, you see there on the right, select category or search, and further down there are there's also a published articles A to Z, and in published articles A to Z, it then asks you whether you want community or health professional articles, and if you click on any one of those two, it'll give you the list of all the published articles to date. Some are actually articles that are suitable for patients as well as the health professionals, and so it appears on both lists. So that's in addition to the main page in health professionals, the top right hand corner of the menu, go down to promote R&D and across to articles and R&D, and that will give you a nice picture of CA, and further down the list, and they're here in project names. So rather than I'm preferring not to stick to what are our specialty labels, wanting more a case of topic areas. So you can see plasma therapy is one off, and biomarkers and image registration. So they're contributions that can come from anywhere. We at the moment have got in the queue to, more on 3D printing, and also another one on AI from our most recent award winners. So it actually provides you direction in from different places to what you're looking for. Community is the same, and cancer technology is specifically set up for any patient to click on cancer technology at the middle top. And if you look down that list, you'll see that it covers all technology used for cancer cases. And it goes well beyond the conventional radiation therapy. Incidentally, I've had to change the word radiotherapy to radiation therapy because somebody's decreed that radiation therapy is the preferred term. Any other questions while we're here?
Yeah, we've got one here from Nick Menzies. Says, thank you, Lynn. One thing regional centres face is uncommon cancers, for example, glioblastoma, being referred for neurosurgery to a metro centre, only for the neurosurgeons to refer them for radiotherapy to their oncology mates in the same hospital, because the regional centre can't perform the required RT treatment as well as they can in a metro hospital. Giving patients realistic counterpoints to this kind of medical bias may be hard to do, but could save unnecessary separation of families. It would also need the material on the website to be moderated so that metro sites don't reinforce this bias. Would you like to comment on that at all?
Okay.
Sorry, you can read it. You can read it again in the Q&A function too. If
I understand it, the question is addressing whether there's mateship in the way the referral patterns happen for patients. I think I can say from having been a cancer patient that I knew who to go to, and so it was actually convenient to have good advice from the right chosen person. But normally patients do have difficulty in particularly when there are two medical specialists from different areas, whether it be, say, chemotherapy and radiation therapy, or surgery and radiation therapy, as to which would be the most appropriate. And so this is one thing which I've highlighted, that I think there is a gap, and I mentioned it in the submission for that grant application, that our site needs to be neutral in direction, but give the facts, and to give a proper description of what and how the technology is used. If we're able to make contact with cancer support organisations, I think that even their supporters that they employ to go out to speak to patients would be worthwhile doing. So, so my personal strategy will be that if we have the money to do it, to move forward on that particular grant, we would be approaching support, and we've already got one expression of interest from Adelaide to be involved in seeing how the information helps patients to decide their type of treatment. Have I answered your question adequately?
Nick, I've allowed you to speak if you want to comment any further on it.
Hi, hi Lynn. I'm not sure whether you can hear me. Yeah, like I did have a friend who was told by the radiation oncologist in Sydney that, of course, in Wagga, they couldn't treat his glioblastoma effectively, and yeah, like I think we did, but yeah, it's one of those diseases very hard to cure. But he didn't really want to be separated for 5 or 6 weeks from his family, so he's grateful for the second opinion from local. But I suppose that's just the kind of thing I noted at the time, that people do get biased opinions, and so if this was a resource where people could say you just have unbiased information, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, so the question is?
Lack of bias.
Sorry?
Just unbiased information.
Well, we're hoping that the information on this website is unbiased. I think my experience from the BOEM inquiry was that in submissions that were put to the health department, they respected the physicists' submissions as being a no conflict. In other words, we don't get paid for promoting it in the sense that it's our business. So it does help, and it fills up a very strong sense of respect between individuals. And we managed to have a good level of understanding with the health department during that process. I would hope that the same thing can happen with patients who find their way to our website to read. And it's important that we get feedback to find out whether, in fact, that is a help for them or not.
I think it definitely highlights the importance of those collaborative projects, so particularly between more regional and metro departments. I think the more that we can involve those smaller departments in those larger projects and increase those affiliations, hopefully those biases will start to reduce.
Yeah, that would be good.
Does anybody else have any further questions for Lynn?
I think you can send me a message whether you agree with what we're doing or not. That would be a help. I'm at the moment had a survey out a week ago to the authors and said, what was your experience like? And I got one response so far. So we need to be a little bit more active than that to be able to get things done. But I see lots of things that can be done. They have to be done one after another. You can't do everything at the one time. So we are addressing the patient issue as being something which we may, in fact, in the end, receive financial support from those cancer support groups to run our foundation for the costs it needs. So there is this agenda that we still have to have something which is sustainable in the future, and not just spending money, but also earning some money. Ethically, not unethically.
Well, thank you very much, Lynn. That was definitely very informative, and hopefully you will get a lot more interest following this presentation. I think there's a lot that we can all do to contribute, and hopefully you'll see an increase in that into the future.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite to listen, and I invite you to, at any time, send me an email on what might be ideas. And if you can see which you'd like to get involved with the website, I can explain how that can be done fairly easily without it not being a chore. I know time is everything for everyone, but many hands make light work, and that's usually the way I get things done. Thank you to all, and best wishes for 2022.
All right, thanks again. Bye, everyone.